Obesity. The word obesity actually means overeat, which means that I think for a lot of years when we are saying, oh, the people who are living with obesity eat too much, we're not actually wrong. The word actually means overeating. Basically, it means that more energy was taken in than was needed, and so the excess was stored as fat. I think what was interesting to me is, why didn't we look further? You know, for the first time, medicine saw a symptom and we decided this must be the diagnosis, and we stopped. Like, what was most interesting was this was happening all over the world, all around at the same time, okay? But for the first time, medicine saw a symptom. We literally saw so many people start gaining weight at the same time, and nobody thought to ask why, what might be going on. Like in every other disease medicine encounters, in high blood pressure, we are going to scan the kidneys, we're going to scan the arteries, what's the problem? Asthma, genetics, look for triggers. If somebody comes in with chest pain, what might be causing it? But in this instance, we saw everyone around the world start gaining weight around the same time, and we just said, they must be overeating. We don't need to look further, because realize that the problem of obesity did not start in one country. It was literally across the world, all around the same time. Different cultures, different food, different tradition. Everybody just started gaining weight around the same time. It was almost as if a wind blew and suddenly everybody became lazy, unmotivated, no willpower. I mean, obviously, when you look at it, you realize that for the first time, medicine got it wrong. We got it very wrong. And the overweight we saw was the symptom of a problem. Obesity research finally blew up when scientists finally found the problem. How did we find the problem? Scientists noticed that there was a particular strain of mouse that kept eating. They kept overeating to the point of obesity. Despite the fact that it was harming them, they were not comfortable, but the mouse continued to eat. And scientists could not understand why all the other mouse are eating normally. They are not gaining weight. Why is this guy eating so much? What's making him so hungry that he's eating so much despite how much weight he's gaining? He just can't stop eating. They were thinking, is the problem in the blood? Is the problem in the brain? What could be the problem? Finally, they decided to do an experiment they called parabiosis. So they took the mouse that was living with obesity, they called it the OB mouse, and they did some kind of surgical experiment where they connected the OB mouse to a normal mouse. And then what happened was amazing, because suddenly the OB mouse started to eat normally and lose weight. And this was the first time that we realized that the control for eating was not actually dependent on the person, but it was dependent on something in the body. Because what we realized was that the OB mouse was lacking something, and the normal mouse had that thing, and it transferred it to the OB mouse, and the OB mouse was suddenly well. Eventually, we found out that that thing the OB mouse was lacking was a hormone called leptin. But this was, you can imagine, in obesity, suddenly we found that there is a reason why people might be overeating, and it has nothing to do with willpower. So then we thought, if there is leptin, there must be something else. And that's how the research into obesity became, more rife. Then we discovered ghrelin, then we discovered GLP-1, then we discovered insulin, then we discovered glucagon. But this was how we discovered that obesity is actually a disease, or that the behavior of overeating is actually a disease that is caused by a disruption in the signaling pathways in some parts of the gut or the brain. I think it was very interesting. I think it was very interesting. It was the beginning of the explosion of our research today, and that's why today we can stand behind the fact that obesity is a disease. And this has been more so proven by the fact that once we have introduced GLP-1, which is a satiety hormone, this disease tends to resolve itself. So which means that it's not a willpower problem, it's not a problem with the person, but there is an issue that has caused a normal working system to stop working, and this is the basis of any disease. So once we realized that, the overweight and the obesity was only a symptom of the real problem. So once again, I'll say to you, what do I want you to know from this video? Obesity is a disease. Obesity is a chronic neurobiological disease. In another video, I will explore actually what has caused it, but it is a chronic neurobiological disease, and it deserves to be treated as such. So if you're somebody who is living with overweight or obesity, you are not lazy, you are not unmotivated, you don't lack willpower, this is a disease that is going to be treated. I will explore more in the next video, but for this, thank you so much for watching. If you don't remember anything I said, you must always remember that obesity is not your fault, but your health remains your responsibility. So I want you to choose to stay healthy. As always, I'm Dr. Kaka. Thank you. Bye.